Hey you guys, Trey Vittetoe here, and today I want to talk about Katy Perry and whether or not she can write songs. So here we go. So I got this question recently, can Katy Perry really write songs? And I just want to start by saying absolutely, Katy is a massive songwriter. So I got to work with Katy in her early days, just as she was starting to blow up. She was signed to Capitol, and I think I Kissed a Girl was just sort of starting to make some waves in the charts. I was still working in music publishing. All of us in this camp were still sort of up and coming, struggling, trying to get into the game. And so we were writing songs with Katy for other artists. And it was me, Ted Bruner, and Katy Perry. So we got an opportunity to write for an artist named Jessie James. She's better known now as Jessie James Decker. It was her first album on Mercury Records. So Katy and Ted had actually been in the studio for a couple of days trying to write something for Jessie, and they weren't getting anywhere. And Ted came to me and said, do you want to try putting together a track and see if we can write to it? And I said, yeah, sure. So the direction was really interesting because Jessie James was doing kind of a country, kind of a pop thing. She was sort of being sold as a Christina Aguilera meets Shania Twain. And that was probably a pretty good description of what Jessie sounded like. She was really an amazing singer. So I wanted to do something with kind of a country overlay, but with some rhythmic foundation to it. And then I pulled up a banjo sample. I wanted this to kind of be really left to center. And I pulled up this banjo sample and I chopped it up so it felt very samply. It was actually in a major key and I wanted it minor, so I had to go find the thirds and drop them down a half step. It was really a kind of crazy track, sort of like Deliverance meets pop music. And when I took it in for Katy and Ted to check out, they flipped. They really loved it. And Katy immediately started throwing out these amazing lines that became the verses. So if you go check the song out, it's called Bullet. When you hear it, you hear the personality, the great melodies, the crazy lyrics. That's all Katy. Ted did come in and he really helped mastermind the chorus idea, but those insane verses and so much of the attitude and everything that is that song was Katy. Bullet is still one of my favorite songs that I've ever done because it's so far out and interesting and fun. And Katy really just sort of nailed the idea of sort of being country, a little left to center, but still keeping it sort of mainstream so that a pop audience can relate to it. So I guess the moral of the story is if you're listening to Katy Perry music and you're asking yourself, well, is that really her writing that? Because it says her name on it, right? Yeah, it is. She's phenomenal. She's really an amazing talent. And I do believe that one of the misconceptions with a lot of pop artists is that once these artists sort of reach into the stratosphere, they're so huge, everything sounds fantastic. People assume that they can't sing, everything's auto-tuned, they don't really write, they just have their name on there because they're the big star. That's probably true with some, but it's absolutely not true with Katy. She's an amazing singer. She's an amazing songwriter. So there you go. I hope if you weren't a Katy Perry fan or you didn't think she could write her own songs, I hope that I was able to lay that to rest. And of course, if you enjoyed this and you felt like you got something out of it, please like and subscribe. And until next time,